Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Breaking Bad. Last time on Breaking Bad, we had a no rough stuff type deal. I think that's what it was called. Okay, so this one, took second place in the reaction poll that I recently put up. So this will be taking over Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Time. Cool, right? You may have noticed we're starting on Season 2. If any of you are new here, if you're wondering, why are we on Season 2 and not Season 1? Well, I've already seen Season 1, actually. About 3.5 years ago, this was in 2016, I actually reacted to the first episode of Breaking Bad. It was one of my first reactions ever, and boy does it show. It's a bit of a rough video. You can go watch it. It is still... It's okay. You can tell I was not used to being on camera yet. I wasn't, I didn't have this whole reaction personality down or anything. It's kind of a slower, quieter video than what I normally make, and I don't even think there was a discussion at the end. So, but that's all I did. That's all I did with Breaking Bad. I just reacted to that first episode. Fast forward a year to 2017, and I actually did a review of the rest of Season 1. And what I basically did was I watched one episode. So, for instance, Episode 2. I watched Episode 2, and then I would stop after the episode was done, and I would turn on my camera, and I would give some thoughts. Some, 5 to 7 minute thoughts about the episode. And then I would go and I'd watch the next episode. And basically what I did was I took each time that I filmed my thoughts, I put them all into one video and I uploaded that. And you can go watch that video. It's interesting. I'm still... I'm more used to the camera, but I'm not quite the personality you see before you now. But it was interesting. It was definitely an interesting review to do. But that's kind of where I left Breaking Bad after that. I never went back and did more. So now, and the reason that I did that was because I was nowhere ready. Doing a reaction series was just not a thought that crossed my mind at that point. Flash forward to now, though, and yeah, I'm a reaction channel now, which I never thought I was going to be, but I am, and I like it. So now we're doing reactions again. We're back to reactions. So yeah, this will be the beginning of Season 2 because I've already seen Season 1. Now, it has been a little while since I've seen Season 1, but I generally know what all happened. I do generally remember what happened, and I did watch the end of my review, so I kind of refreshed myself on some of the plot lines that were carrying over, but I'm sure there's still a few things that I missed, and hopefully this season will get me back into. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is still my first time watching Breaking Bad, so I would appreciate if you didn't spoil me on anything. I'd like to get my, genuine first reactions onto film. And this is also where I say, because this is the first episode of the season, you can actually watch my full unedited reaction for free. So if you let this video keep playing, you'll get the normal edited reaction with the footage in the corner and everything. But if you want to go a little bit further beyond and actually watch my full unedited reaction, you can. If you go down in the description or to the pinned comment on this video, there will be a link there. It'll take you over to my Patreon page, and you can just watch it. It doesn't have any show footage, so if you would like show footage, you're going to have to sync up your own copy of Breaking Bad to my footage. I've tried to make it as easy as possible to be able to sync up the two copies, and hopefully if you like that and you're like, hey, I like this full length thing, I think I want to do more. Well, just for $5 a month on my Patreon page, you can watch the rest of my full unedited reactions. So yeah, with that being said, we might as well pop right into this episode of Breaking Bad. Here we go. Is that an eyeball? Oh dear, why is there an eyeball there? Is that a legit eyeball? What the? Oh. No, it's okay. It was just off a stuffed animal. Okay.
All right, we're gonna make a lot of money together.
Just remember who you're working for.
What did you say?
Yeah, this was the scene
Just saying,
at the end of the last
they gotta know if
episode.
they're working for you.
Like,
God,
they
this is
don't
taking me
already
back
know
now.
that? Heisenberg says, relax. I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed.
Yeah, see how relaxed he is? Now, is he dead? I don't know, actually. Those are pretty strong, but I don't know if he's actually dead. Benefit of the doubt, I'll say he's dead.
Adjusting for inflation. Good state college, adjusting for inflation. Say $45,000 a year, 2 kids, 4 years of college.
Is he trying to get out already?
$360,000. That's $240,000.
It's...
360 plus 1.
Oh, he's trying to figure out how much more he needs to do.
737. $737,000. That's what I need.
Whew.
About 70 grand a week. That's only 10 and a half more weeks. Call it 11. 11 more drug deals, and always in a public place from now on.
11.
It's doable.
Whew.
Totally doable.
Ooh. Was it him again? Yeah.
What the hell? What's wrong with him?
He's dying?
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that doesn't... He's dead. Let's just walk away slowly.
It's a big hurry. No, I just think we're done here. Oh, yeah?
Huh. He's kind of out of it.
Walt.
Kind of just needs a shoulder right now. Oh, wait. Needs a little bit more than a shoulder.
Okay. Hold up. Stop it. Stop it!
Hey, come on, man.
It is him or us. You understand? It is him or us. How would you do it?
What do you mean, how would I do it?
Specifically, how would you do it, step by step?
Huh. Can you go through with it?
I mean, 2 would probably work, I guess, yeah.
Okay, 2 shots. 2 shots in the chest, 2 shots in the face.
Man,
What-
come
No,
on.
I'm just trying to understand how this works.
Yeah.
Okay, Tuco and Gonzo, 2 men down. Now, is there anyone else there?
There might be.
Tuco is usually with someone else, right? Maybe even a couple of guys, his dealers, his posse.
Huh. Wow.
All right,
You really got to think this out.
put a pin in that one too.
Scarlett didn't pick up?
Obviously, she's not home.
Yeah, he's on the trail, isn't he? It's fun trying to remember everything about this show.
So what'd they get?
Methylamine, 30 gallons.
P2P.
They're cooking old school biker meth.
Tuh.
Who the hell still does that?
So is that
All the old
is that Walt and
timers
Jesse?
I
I
know
don't
are dead or
remember.
in prison.
Might be.
Pseudo's in short supply, so these 2 make do by changing up the formula.
Yeah, then that's them.
That and the thermite.
Oh, okay, they're turning around. I was gonna say, I've never seen a car Homer Simpson away. Whew, that's, troubling.
Your daughter wants out.
Well, he ain't there. He's been up all night. Scared out of his mind.
To the phone, owing to the extra baby weight.
Damn. Just shut her down.
Hey, sweetie.
He's got his ways and means, yo,
Yeah.
sources, all right? He's closing in.
What happens when he finds
Or
out that my
you're both
brother
paranoid.
is a DEA?
What is it, Mr. White? Lay it on me.
This is not going to be better.
Beans.
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 They're good for your heart.
Castor beans.
The more you eat.
So what are we gonna do with him?
It's an extremely effective poison. It's toxic in
Ooh.
small doses. Also fairly easy to overlook during an autopsy.
Oh. Clever.
Now we just need to figure out a delivery device, and then
To inject Tuco.
no more Tuco.
Huh. Okay. Put it in the meth, I guess.
I don't know, Hank. Depends on whether or not this is going to be about Marie.
Okay.
Did she send you?
Hell no. She's barely even talking to me. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Self-preservation. Big time.
I like Hank.
But if you could do me this huge favor and just return her phone calls.
I don't think I'm quite ready to do that yet.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Communication.
Marie is a shoplifter, Hank.
Huh.
That's right.
Yeah. If I thought you were gonna return it, I would have never. You know.
He's in on it.
We have got to be understanding. You know, I mean, we gotta support the shit out of her.
Is that it? Well, she's pissed.
But I see.
Oh.
Now I'm supposed to go, Hank. Please, what can I possibly do to further benefit my spoiled, kleptomaniac bitch sister who somehow always manages to be the center of attention? Because God knows she's the one with the really important problems.
Huh. Aww. Well, when you put it like that.
Want me to take a look at that utility closet?
Whew.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Alright, they did put it in the meth.
Well, what's new about it? I mean, you know, just in case he asks, what do
Yeah.
we say?
Work on it.
Whatever you want. It gets the user insanely high. And how much salesmanship do we really need? The degenerate snorts anything he gets his hands on.
Okay, well, we'll just put a pin in that then.
Huh. A little too many pins going on.
Within the next 40. Hey, Hank. What's up?
Oh, hey, buddy. You been home yet?
No.
Why?
Because I really screwed up, man.
I apologize in advance for the earful you're gonna hear from Skylar. I was just trying to get her and Marie talking again. Big mistake. I should have just
Oh,
Kept out of it.
you looked at the utility room, didn't you?
I'm at work, so. Oh, hey.
Oh, it was just a social call.
They pissed off the wrong guy.
Tuco.
Walt, you there? Hey, Walt?
Okay.
I'm taking this.
No, it's my gun. I need it.
No, you
Duh.
don't. Not if you leave town. Get out of here. Tuco killing Gonzo means he's coming after us next time. I've got to get home. My family.
Oh boy. Fight or flight now.
Skylar.
Maybe we're worrying over nothing. God, I'm scared. Oh, okay, good. Oh!
Oh, snap. Damn, Ricky, leave something for the coroner.
Huh.
Crushed his arm, pinned him here, and he bled out.
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh.
Get in.
That's it. Yep. Ooh. Oh, man, oh man. Oh man, oh man, that was intense. That was an intense premiere, and yet, and at the same time, it was basically just a straight continuation of the last episode. You know. Ooh, boy, oh boy. Excuse me. So, yeah, that was an interesting episode. Man, oh man, it's a little crazy to be watching the show again, you know? It's a little crazy. It's been so long since I actually watched this show. You know, like I said, the last time I watched an episode was 2017. It's 2020 now. You know, it's almost 3 years since I watched season 1, but man, getting right back into it, that sure is fun, I have to say. If a little intense. Okay. So, let's just go right into the notes. If any of you are new here, we do a pretty decent discussion, I would say, on these videos. It's not just my reaction, we also do a discussion where I actually discuss my thoughts on the episode, and we work some stuff out. You know, it helps me better understand things, and yeah, we just have a good time talking. So let's go ahead and get right into that. I took a decent amount of notes on this episode. The first thing I wrote down was 737, and I also wrote down 11. So 737, which also happens to be the name of this episode, is how much Walt needs in order to pretty much die, I guess. You know, that's as much money as he needs to just comfortably leave. That's as much money as he needs to comfortably leave to his family so that they are, you know, secure. They are fine, you know, after he dies. And so I like that, you know, him, you know, running through all the calculations, even, you know, adjusted for inflation and everything. And he came up with $737,000, which, equating to that, would mean it would take them 10.5 weeks. It would take them 10.5 weeks to gain that much money, or 11 more deals they would have to do with Tuco. The problem is that means doing 11 more with Tuco. You know, they barely got through one. They barely got through one deal with Tuco. You know, they didn't even get to the second one, and he's already trying to kill them. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And that was the next thing I wrote down was Tuco and the body. So, I mean, you know, last season we saw with that first scene, I'm glad they actually replayed that scene at the beginning of the episode. I did like that, where it shows Tuco, you know, when he kills that guy. Of course, he thinks he just, you know, beats him up, but, you know, he actually kills him. That was interesting, and, you know, that moment of realization where both Walt and Jesse are just like, what have we gotten ourselves into? You know, and I think that's why, you know, immediately once they get back in the car, Walt is running, you know, he's running the numbers on all this, because he wants to, like, it's almost like assurance, like, yes, we have to do this, we have to keep, you know, making deals with this guy, but at the same time, you know, at the same time, it's only a finite amount, which now I was thinking when he was like, okay, we only need to do this 11 more times, only 10.5 weeks. What I was thinking at the beginning there was, would Tuco let him go? Or let them go, I mean. Would Tuco actually let them go after that? Because if this stuff is really that good, wouldn't he want to keep this supply going? Like, why would he... So that was kind of my, kind of question in the back of my head when he, ran through all these calculations. It's like, will he let you go after 11 more deals? Like, he might just want to keep you, forever, basically. If your stuff is that good, So yeah, that was interesting. And then, and then that didn't even really become a concern because they couldn't even get to the second one. And they couldn't even get to the second deal before things just went completely south with Tuco. The fact that he ended up actually killing the guy that he beat up. And then, yeah, that is interesting when it's like, okay, well, Jesse, gets a gun basically because he knows that Tuco is going to want to, tie up all loose ends. Which is an interesting idea. I would not have thought of that, but yeah, that is interesting that he would want to tie up loose ends, which is why he killed Gonzo, and now he's going after, Walt and Jesse. And I just realized I need to, there. Okay. I just had to make an amendment to one note here. So yeah, it definitely presents a larger problem, because if that hadn't happened, like if that guy hadn't died, then they would probably have been in the clear to just keep going for the 11 more deals. The problem now is that, this has pretty much put a halt to that because Tuco needs to tie up all loose ends. So yeah. I wrote down, initially I wrote down the wife. But then I amended my note just now that I remember her name, Skylar. So I wrote down Skylar. So I'm going to try to, remember all these names. So yeah, I wrote down Skylar, first off with Walt going in and, he's trying to get it on, if I could, kind of cleanly say that. Yeah. Sort of tap dance around, but he was trying to get it on, but he just tried to get it on a little too much. Like, come on, man. No means no, man. Like, don't do this. So, yeah, that was kind of intense. And, when she says, like, okay, I understand that, you are going through a lot of things, but you cannot take it out on me, which, good for her, standing up to him. And it's true. And I think once he stopped, he really, once he stopped, he realized what he was doing. And, it did, like, take an effect on him. He's like, oh God, what am I doing? But he didn't say anything. That's the thing. I feel like, a lot of the stuff earlier on, or at least in that scene, is like, I don't even think Walt has a line of dialogue. I think it's all in, sort of the body acting, which Bryan Cranston does, spectacularly on this show. So yeah, that was interesting. And just him, he wanted to do that, but then, her shutting that down and shutting him down, that was interesting. I wrote down the sister and therapy. See, I had kind of forgotten, like, what the conflict was. Like I said, I rewatched part of my season 1 review so I could try to, get a little refreshed before I started this episode. And I was like, okay, and luckily at the end of my video I actually lay out what, like, all the continuing plot lines are, which was helpful. But all I said in there was, well, the conflict between the sisters. And I was like, okay. And then I guess it just didn't quite click in my head what exactly the conflict was over. But now I remember, the sister, was her name Marie? I think it was Marie. I don't know. And once again, Netflix, freaking Netflix. Netflix does not have a cast list, and I have become spoiled to Amazon cast lists. Many of the shows I watch via Amazon. Amazon has cast lists for pretty much everything except, like, My Hero Academia. But Netflix doesn't have a cast list, and I can use a cast list so I know character names, So yeah, I think it was Marie, I think that was the sister's name, but I don't fully remember. Either you guys can tell me in the comments, or I don't know, I'll just learn it at some point, I'm sure. But I think it was Marie. But for now, we'll just say the sister. Yeah, so I forgot that the conflict between Skylar and her sister was the fact that her sister was a shoplifter. And yeah, I forgot that point where, you know, she went to return the tiara, and she almost got arrested for that because they thought she was the one that stole it when it wasn't actually her. And then, yeah, when she says, like, you know, her sister would not admit that, you know? Okay, oh God, I think it was Marie. I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna listen to it just so I can get that name.
You wanna sit down first?
I don't know, Hank. Depends on whether or not this is going to be about Marie.
Yep. It is, yeah, it's Marie. I remember. I know now. You don't need to leave a comment. You probably already have. Well, if you already left a comment about Marie's name, then go ahead and edit your comment and say that you commented before I told you not to comment. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway. So, yeah. So yeah, Marie... so that was the conflict, was she's a shoplifter, and Skylar, like, more than doesn't approve of it. It's not just that she doesn't approve of it, it's that she is pissed about it. And, you know, and we see Marie is going to therapy, and, you know, Hank is like, you know, really stick to it, and she's like, I am sticking to it. I don't think she's really sticking to it. Either she's not going to therapy, or the therapy is not helping. You know, when they say it's like, oh, you only have to do this 6 more times, it's like, are we guaranteed that she's going to be fixed in 6 more times? I don't think so, honestly. So, I don't know. And then, you know, with each time that she called Skylar, that was interesting. And mostly, so basically it was really just Skylar just not answering the phone. And then the second time, she picked up and hung it up, like, you, I'm not answering your call, you know? So that was interesting. So, and then the whole talk between Skylar and Hank, that was also interesting, and Hank being like, yeah, we're working on it. If you could just give her support. And then, finally, Skylar... And rightfully so, Skylar just vents, which is probably very needed. Now, I remember last season we did have that scene where, like, everyone was passing around, like, the speaking animal or something, where it's like, you know, the only people that are allowed to talk are the ones holding, you know, the animal. And she did get some venting out during that. But I don't remember the full scope of that scene. But I remember she was more venting about I think it was more venting about Walt than anyone else. I don't remember, but here she got to vent about her sister and how bad her sister is, honestly, how bad Marie is. And, you know, saying, it's like, I have a husband who's gone for hours on end, and I don't know where he goes, and he never talks to me, and a son that's exactly the same, you know? And then saying, like, oh, we have this old problem in our utility room, and we cannot afford to do it. Oh. Which, by the way, I thought... This show tricked me for a second. You know, because the last time... Because then we see Hank, it's like, you want me to check out that utility room for you? You know, he's trying to help out. And then the next time we see him, he is outside. He is outside with the police on the phone with Hank, and he's like... Hey, or with, not with Hank, he's Hank, with, Walt, I'm sorry, now it's, I know these names, I'm just trying to, now I'm gonna have to get used to saying all these names again. Oh, it's so weird coming back to Breaking Bad like this, but I'm enjoying it, and I think I smudged my glasses. So, oh boy, okay. Let's see. So yeah, I thought he was calling Walt saying, "Hey, you know, I checked out your utility room, and yeah, it's bad. We had to call like, you know, I don't know, like a detox team or something. Like something, I thought it was going to be something horrible, but then it was like, oh, he's just at a crime scene. He's at work. But it fooled me. It fooled me for a second. I was like, oh God, what was in that utility room that all the police are here? Okay. The next thing I wrote down was the ricin. That was interesting. I love these, I love these, what Walt brings to the table when it comes to these, these drug deals and these situations. Like, he always brings in something that no one would ever think about, all these weird, chemistry, chemical things. And he's like, oh, well, these beans will, you grind them down into ricin, and then, it's a very deadly poison, even just a little bit, like the head of a pin, not a pen, but a pin. It's like, that could kill someone. I don't know why Walt has turned into Richard Nixon. Sorry about that. My impressions aren't great, but that was interesting. I did like that, especially after, we go through the whole thing. I really like, them going through the plan. Walt is going step by step. It's like, okay, Jesse, he's just thinking, okay, just, like you said, just pap, pap, pap. It's like, okay, 3 shots, or is it, and I don't know, 2 or 3. It's like, well, is it 2 or is it 3? It's like, okay, we'll put a pin in that. I don't know, what about, who else is there? Gonzo, okay, a couple there. You're out of bullets at that point, and you might have other people there, Apparently my Walter White is just going to be Richard Nixon now. Sorry. So, that was interesting, just them going through that. I love the dynamic between Walt and Jesse. The two of them are very great together, and I just love all the, like, the intellectual, things that, not that Jesse isn't intellectual, but just more of the, I don't know, I guess, like, he kind of brings, like, the practical mind, like Jesse is all the emotion, and Walt is all the practicality, and with that practicality comes all the stuff, he knows about chemistry, and so the ricin is also part of that, Oy. Okay, let's see. I wrote down fight or flight, because it seemed like, he was like, okay, Jesse, you get out of town. So, flight. You get out of town. I will take the gun and I will protect my family. So, Walt is there to fight, But then neither of that works. So, but I thought that was interesting, It's like, okay, well, what do we do now? What do we do now with Tuco finding them? And he's like, okay, you just get out of town. Walt can't get out of town, because he's got his family. And how do you just, get them out of town like that and leave town permanently? That would be the thing. So that's why he takes the gun, which was interesting. I wrote down poetic justice. So Gonzo was trying to move the body, but he got stuck and he bled out. Now, even though he did get stuck and that's why he died, I would imagine that it was still somehow Tuco's fault. Like, he was sort of responsible for it, because he wants to tie up all loose ends, So yeah, I don't know, but he must have, framed it to just be like, okay, this was an accident for him trying to cover up his own crimes. So that was interesting, an interesting take on that. And then the last thing I wrote down was Taken. So Tuco now has Walt and Jesse, and they need to figure out what to do about him, And Walt doesn't have his gun. He left that in the house. He doesn't have the ricin. He can't just give him the meth and be like, try this. So yeah, we're really gonna have to see next episode what they do. And I was kind of wondering too, like, I was wondering throughout the episode, like, okay, is Tuco going to be sort of a recurring villain, or are we gonna get through this, pretty much right now? Seems like we're gonna get through that right now, because they got to do something right now about Tuco. So yeah, but we'll have to see next time. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wrote. Great episode. It's definitely interesting to be back to this, because I haven't watched this show, like I said, in almost 3 years. But I'm glad to be back. I am really, really happy to be back to this show, and I'm excited for what the future episodes hold. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Breaking Bad videos, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.